Hello. It is Wednesday, the 18th of June 2025. As most people know, I've been writing spirit teaching books, or spiritual if you prefer, for quite a few years now, since 1994 the first book was published. And one of the questions covered in the first book and still in my latest version, which I shall show to the camera, it is Golden Enlightenment, 20-year anniversary edition, this one. And question 5 in there of 60 covers the question of abortion and the consequences, spiritually speaking. I still think and feel that my answer in the book is relevant to today, when I've heard on Facebook that there's a new legislation passed that allows women to terminate pregnancies basically at any time. It could be, instead of 3 months, it could be 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, all the way to probably the day before birth. If you say any time, it's any time, isn't it? The consequences, of course, will the child live? Because it's still a child, it's still a spirit, even if it's 1 day old. But I'm not judging anyone. It is, as I think I try to make clear in the book, the choice of the parents. They may later in life, of course, come to the conclusion that they would wish they hadn't have gone ahead with an abortion, but the choice is nonetheless theirs, and one must remember and respect the fact that life is eternal, and that the terminated child does not die, or terminated fetus, if you want to call it that, but it's still a baby in formation. So I wouldn't judge, and I would suspect that most women won't be suddenly rushing off and thinking, oh, I can have an abortion any time, I'll go now after 8 months. But some may. But as I say, it would be for them to live with their actions and to face the consequences later in life. There may not be any major repercussions from a spiritual sense. I'm not suggesting that they'll end up in any hellish level of spirit life, which do exist, of course, but it isn't a crime or something that's going to send you there, in my opinion. But we need to think about these things from all points of view, not just jump on a bandwagon, oh, that's a bad idea. This is my opinion, of course. This is a bad idea, allowing women to do this, or families, husbands, no doubt, or partners have a choice as well, or at least they should have. Anyway, it is ultimately their choice, and nobody dies. So we have to look at all these things from both sides. The fact that life is eternal, and that in the future life, in spirit life, we might one day meet the child that we lost or aborted. And there may be regrets then, of course, and guilt. But I'll waffle it on a bit here, and basically it is the choice of the mother. But the main thing that I feel is the most important point to get across is that people will understand these things far, far better if they understand spiritual knowledge, spiritual teachings, and then they can make more informed decisions based on an understanding of the totality of life, not just look at it purely from a physical point of view, but look at it from all points of view. If a woman is pregnant, it's not an accident. It may be an accident from a physical point of view. You may not have been planning a pregnancy, but the spirit incoming will have known about the opportunity to come into physical life, physical incarnation through that mother. And the mother at a higher level of consciousness would quite likely, in my opinion, have agreed to this. But that's debatable, of course. It would be worth looking into these things and understanding these things before going ahead with any terminations for a start, or planning a birth, or anything really. Every avenue of life should be pursued from a spiritual angle to understand everything. Otherwise we're living, or people are living as they are already on this life, in ignorance of their true nature, which is that of spirit beings. So I'm trying not to be judgmental anyway. Personally, I wouldn't myself encourage a woman to have a termination. But of course it's their choice. I'm not a woman. I'm not likely to, I'm 100% not likely to give birth to a child. And so who am I to judge? And I wouldn't want to judge. So this is what I'm trying to get at. We shouldn't judge each other, but we all need to understand spiritual truths, spiritual teachings. So it's time we all educated each other as more and more, and best we can. It is difficult to reach more and more people because some people don't want to know. They're all switched off mentally from the truth, but they're basically denying their reality, their own reality, as many find out with NDEs, as they call them, near-death experiences. Anyway, I'm going to be going into other subjects if I carry on any longer, so I'll leave that with you. These are just some of my ideas, some of my thoughts, some of my feelings, and if you want to know the full answer in the book, it's available on Amazon. So take care, make your decisions wisely. Cheerio for now.